All right, sounds good, Sam. It's 8:36. A local muralist has a lot to celebrate. She's organized one of the city's most recognizable murals, has participated in ArtPrize, and recently just finished her largest wall mural yet.
Well, Rhiannan Sibbald joins us this morning live to tell us more about her work and the passion that goes in behind it. Rhiannan, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me. This is so exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to tell us about your work, because I was on your website earlier this morning. You have got a long resume in your career so far, and it's very impressive. So tell us about all of the things that you've done.
Sure. So I think, like a lot of artists would say, I've been an artist, since I could hold a crayon.
Yeah.
But I've been painting murals for about 6 years now, and full-time for 3.5 years. I studied art and design at Grand Valley State University, so that's how I kind of got planted into the art scene here in Grand Rapids.
Okay, so kind of figured out how to make something here in Grand Rapids, something visual that everybody really gets to see around town.
Yeah, I'm very curious to hear too, why murals? What got you into that form where it's so big, there's such a large canvas, a lot of time outdoors? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. So actually, when I graduated art school, I went into a design role at a firm, and I was designing billboards.
Okay.
Oh.
So as you can maybe imagine, that's a large scale visual for many people to see. So I think once I broke off and did my own artistic endeavor, I kind of translated the billboards to large-scale murals.
Yeah, we're taking a look at some of your artwork here. I mean, you've got, this looks like a sidewalk, or maybe it's a parking space or something like that. You also painted that little booth there. I believe it looked like outside of Van Andel Arena, right?
Yes.
How do you get involved doing, there's that booth that I was talking about. How do you get involved doing some of these projects? Are you contacted, or are you like, hey, I would love to paint that. Can I make this thing pop in our city?
Yeah, so there's so many opportunities for emerging artists to get involved in the local art scene.
Yeah.
Downtown Grand Rapids Incorporated has different calls that you can apply to, which was the ticket booth was one of those calls.
Okay.
I know Lions and Rabbits has a lot of opportunities for emerging artists to really kind of springboard and step into the scene.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I did it, and from now it's just kind of snowballing from that.
And it seems like you've done a lot of work, including, we want to show you, let's pull up the Monroe North parking lot. So if you've been to the Monroe North neighborhood in downtown Grand Rapids, you've definitely seen this. You actually helped coordinate this large effort there in downtown Grand Rapids. How do you even go about, like, one, visualizing something like this, but two, making it all happen? How do you do that?
Yeah, so it's kind of like you have to work backwards a little bit.
Okay.
So you have to say, okay, this is what we're trying to accomplish. We're kind of working in constraints. So I knew that it's a huge lot. We have to kind of work with simplistic shapes that the public can come help fill in. Like any lay person can help fill that in. It's just kind of following, coloring in the lines.
Oh, interesting. So was the idea you kind of just invited people to come and help you paint, like a paint by numbers type situation?
It was kind of like that. For this project, I worked with Downtown Grand Rapids Incorporated, and we kind of combined forces, me as a creative lead, them as, okay, we can help you do this.
Okay.
So they actually had a bunch of people on their side to help fill during I think it was only 3 or 4 days we painted this lot.
Yeah,
Wow.
That's very cool. And I mean, I've toured that apartment building that's right next door, like way up in the sky. Like as soon as you look over and see that parking lot, so magnificent.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely interested to hear just how much work, how much time goes into all this. I know you said 3 to 4 days of actually painting it, but I'm sure the prep work before that is its own task, really.
Oh, yes. I would say 50% of my time spent making a mural is behind the scenes in my office. From the first initial meeting with the client, the building owner, to going to site, collecting information, inspiration, and then actually physically sketching design options.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is actually behind the scenes before you put paint on the wall or surface.
That's really cool. I want to show a picture from my hometown in Coldwater. This is your largest wall mural yet, if we could pull that up. This is on the side of the Children's Museum in Branch County. This is so cool, and there's you signing your name right there. Can you just talk about this piece of artwork, because it really is cool. It actually captures the spirit of that museum perfectly.
Yes, so actually I spoke with Shauna Greif, who is the director of
I
that
know Shauna, yep.
museum. And last year we actually worked together on the entryway to their gift shop.
Okay.
So that's kind of how the relationship started. And then she was talking, she said, hey, we're actually getting a giant solar sunflower sculpture on the corner of this building near the awning. And we would love if there could be some sort of like wildflower garden scene to accompany it.
Yeah.
So I think it was a year and a half later, we're finally painting this wall.
Yeah. I mean, and that is such a historic building too there in downtown Coldwater. You just saw what it was before, and now you see the after. You used something, was it the squiggle method that I was reading about? What is that, and what does that entail on this project?
Yeah, so the squiggle grid or doodle grid, as many muralists will call it, basically, as you see here, it's putting markings on the wall as reference points for me to know where to map out my design. So I'll put the markings on the wall, and then I will take a picture of that. And in the computer, I'll overlay my digital mural design over top of it so I can see the markings through the picture. So when I'm up on that wall, I can look at my phone and zoom in and say, hey, the butterfly's wing is close to the C and the D. And so I know where exactly to draw that in.
Wow, so it kind of acts as a roadmap for you to not get lost when you're sketching this out on the building itself.
Yes, so when you're so close to a wall that large, that wall was, I think, 85 feet wide by, I think, 25 feet high is how high I went.
Okay.
When you're that close to the wall, you can't really tell where you are or what you're drawing. So you kind of need some sort of guide to help you keep the proportions correct and the placement.
Wow, and it looks like, I mean, you are so talented because looking at the big picture, I mean, you know, it's one thing to be able to get off that the cherry picker boom ladder that you were on there and moving back, you know, and looking at that full scale, but also when you're right up on it, it's got to be so tough.
Absolutely. It's so cool to be able to see how all of these kind of come together, the behind the scenes that we don't really see. And you've got quite the stacked resume, and I understand that ArtPrize is also a part of that. Can you tell us about your experience with ArtPrize?
Sure. So actually last year I worked with Basic Bee Boutique and Chartreuse Sisters Patisserie on Wealthy. I think it's Wealthy and Eastern. And we created this mural here celebrating sisterhood, femininity, and just nature in general. And once that mural went up, we kind of threw it in ArtPrize as a last minute, like, hey, this kind of coincides with ArtPrize. So we worked together to put that entry in there. And it was cool to see people visiting that part of town because of the art. I think last year's ArtPrize was the first time the Uptown District was really directly involved. So it was awesome to see how art could help promote those businesses and the different operations in that area.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you are so talented, and I know that you do, speaking of that specific piece, you were talking about how that ties back into femininity, that theme as well. Do you do a lot of artwork with themes? Because I know that that is something that you try to do maybe, that ties back into a general theme or maybe represents something. Can you speak to what your art represents and what you want people to get out of it?
So I used to draw very realistically. I'm depicting things from photographs, trying to replicate them perfectly, and that just wasn't bringing me joy. So I tried a new style where I was breaking things down to like their most rudimentary colors and forms. And then it kind of got me on this idea of what if we celebrate the most rudimentary things in life like love, joy, compassion, wildlife, nature, and that's kind of what drives my work now, is kind of breaking things down to these things we learned as children.
Yeah.
And so now it's kind of putting me into the realm of creating artwork in children's spaces. So that has been an unexpected turn that has been really fun and enjoyable for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And you do it so well and capture each of those themes. When you start explaining it, you can definitely see what you're thinking and how that really has translated in the artwork too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you mentioned kind of working with some children's spaces as well. Do you have anything on the horizon that you can share with us?
Oh yeah, a little sneak peek on anything coming up?
Yeah, so there's a couple bigger things that are secret as of right now, but This weekend, I will actually be live painting a mural in Albion
Okay.
at the Kids and Stuff Children's Museum.
Wow. How does a live painting work? Because you've done this before.
Yes. Yeah, so basically it's just I'm doing my job painting, but people are invited to come and watch and engage. Sometimes people will ask if they can put a stroke of paint on the wall.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I love it. And where can people find your artwork and also your website? That way, anybody who might want to have a mural created from you, where can people find your information?
Sure, so I have a website. It's rhiannansibbald.com. That's RHIANNAN SIBBALD.
Okay, and then social medias?
It's the same.
Same thing?
Yep, it's just my
Awesome.
full name, first and last name, Instagram, Facebook.
All right, well, very cool. And you know, just kind of rounding things out, what do you hope people take away from your artwork? What do you hope that when they are watching or seeing you in a live show or a live painting, or they're just rolling up on your artwork in general, what do you hope that they're taking away?
I think it kind of falls into two camps. One, I want to inspire artists of all ages to feel like they can embrace their creative side in the same way that I feel like I am able to. So if I can inspire someone to take that path or take that leap, that's important. But the other thing is I just want to bring joy and inspiration to a complicated world.
Yeah.
So I just want to remind people to love the people around them, love themselves, and find joy in the small things.
Well, Rhiannan, you're certainly accomplishing that, especially with your newest mural down in Coldwater and all the things that you've done so far. So we appreciate your efforts, and thank you so much for coming in this morning.
Thank you so much.